Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of our CapeSpace Connection series. I'm Haley Cote, the Community Manager for CapeSpace Mashpee, and today I'm thrilled to have here with me Monique Sadarangani. Monique, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Of course.
So, you ready to dive on in?
Sure.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Yes. So, Monique, you're an attorney. So, can you tell people about the kind of law you practice and the work you do?
Sure. So I'm very focused. I know there are a lot of attorneys who are general practitioners, but and some that focus more on a specific area, but I am very focused in my area of practice. I'm a trust and estates attorney. So what that means, I know some people don't really understand exactly what I do, but generally what that means is that I'm preparing estate plans for people. So wills, trusts, advance directives, which are like durable power of attorneys, healthcare proxies, things like that. And then I also do the estate side of things, meaning that, if you do or if you don't have an estate plan, there's still the process that needs to take place when someone passes away. So in that sense, I also help families administer the estate of a loved one or the decedent in general, through and guide people through that process.
Mm-hmm. What drew you to want to do that kind of law in particular?
Yeah, so I kind of always knew that this is what I wanted to do. When I was very young, at 5 years old, my mother actually passed away very suddenly. And so she left myself and my three other sisters and my father not really having a good sense of what to do because she didn't have a proper plan in place. There was no will. She had like a handwritten note as to how she wanted things devised. And in the end, because she did have property that was titled only in her name and not in joint names, there was, a lawsuit that ensued. My eldest sister actually, had to bring an action against us because of the property and how it was devised. And so it was this big mess that ended up actually putting a big strain on the entire family at the time. And growing up with that and dealing with that at a very young age, I always kind of had it in my mind, these things can be avoided. There's no reason why families need to suffer and go through the same types of things that I went through. So when I actually went into law school, I went in with the understanding and the knowledge that I wanted to get into this area of law and practice this to help people generally, with their estate plans, make sure that things are as streamlined as possible. And basically to make sure that people can walk through the process and understand things in a way that, my family never had. So that's kind of what led me here.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. What would you say you love most about what you do?
So I have to say that as being an attorney in general, we're constantly required, not just required, but we have to, as a means of our profession, to constantly learn. And I've always had a passion for gaining knowledge and learning new things. I actually, before I went to law school, I got my master's in Asian religions. I traveled to India. I learned, about the culture, the food, and did my thesis research there for my master's program. My undergrad was actually started off in psychology and marine biology. And then I switched over to include religious studies. So I kind of like to just constantly pick up things, constantly learn things. And being a lawyer means that I get to do that all the time. So whether it be reading, research, getting updated on new case law that's constantly coming down, staying on top of, tax planning for my field, going to continuing education courses, or there's a lot available online nowadays. So it allows me to, through my profession, also increase my knowledge and my own growth, which I love.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Monique, how long have you been a member here at CapeSpace?
I actually, so I'm licensed to practice law in both Florida and Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started my practice, I was in Florida, and I set up, a virtual office in Massachusetts. I have family on Cape, and so I knew that, when I came up here physically, I wanted to be on Cape and be a part of that community and have that community here. So I actually have been a member now of CapeSpace for over a year. And so when I moved down here, I set up, membership with CapeSpace, and it's been wonderful, completely
Mm.
wonderful. It's been a blessing to have, the resources and the convenience of having the location and being able to work, but also doing a lot of things virtually now too, especially because of COVID. It's good to have those virtual connections.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful to hear. And I know that's the great thing about the virtual office membership is that you can, come in and use our space and use our resources whenever you need them. So
Right, right. And I'm
yeah,
sure that you have a lot more members doing that type of membership nowadays because of COVID, especially as an attorney. I can do a lot of things in my field remotely anyway. So I was already set up very remote based. I could meet with clients virtually, or come into the office to do like a signing appointment if I needed the extra structure of having like the witnesses and things like that.
Right.
But it allows me to have that adaptability. So, I'm sure a lot of people are, since COVID, moving in that direction as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely seeing that. And I think you'll continue to trend more and more toward
Right,
that in the
right.
future for sure. So for any of you watching who are interested in a virtual office membership or just curious to learn more about any memberships we offer, I'd encourage you to visit capespace.com. So Monique is moving on to a little more rapid fire, lighthearted questions. You ready?
Sure.
So first off, what is your favorite hobby?
So I'm actually also a yoga instructor.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I went to get my certification actually in Thailand.
Wow.
Very rigorous certification training for hot yoga. And I did that back in 2015. So I've been teaching yoga, especially, since I've been a lawyer, practicing law, practicing yoga. And it's always been a passion of mine. I've been doing that for years. And so I have to say that when I have the time between, processing the legal stuff, and then also I have a toddler. So that keeps me busy. But when I do have the time, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but that comes in handy too, being as busy as you are and
Yes,
having a young kid.
more
Yeah.
than.
Right. It's important. What are you currently binge watching or reading even?
So I try to read like a pleasure reading book because I'd have to do a lot of reading, obviously, as an attorney. We're constantly reviewing documents, reading things, and like I said, keeping up with the law and changes. So I feel like I'm always reading something for work. But I try to do like one pleasure reading book at a time on top of it. So right now, my book that I'm reading, which I love, is called A Princess Remembers. It's memoirs of Maharani of Jaipur. It's by a woman named Gayatri Devi and Santhu Rama Rao. It's actually, like it says, it's a memoir of a princess in India. And it's just, she talks about her life growing up as a princess and about her parents and the travels. And it's really, it kind of takes you there to that time and place, which is good. So, it's based on real life facts. And my father is Indian, so it kind of, I traveled to India before, so it's bringing up a lot of history and memories at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm actually, I also, like to binge watch things from time to time. I'm not binge watching anything right now. But I just finished recently The Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, I keep
Yeah,
hearing about
it's on
that.
Netflix. I believe it was Netflix or Hulu, one of those. It was on, but it's great. So I definitely recommend anybody looking to binge watch something in the near future and they haven't seen The Queen's Gambit. Really, really entertaining, great great series.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I got to check that out. Is there a particular song or maybe album or artist you're listening to a lot right now?
Actually, I don't know why, but I've been on a Taylor Swift kick lately.
Oh my gosh. You don't even
I was
understand. I am the biggest Taylor Swift fan you will ever meet.
oh, really?
Yes.
So I just started listening to what's it? The new not the newest, but she had an album last year, I believe, Everborn or something.
Yeah, so Evermore was the one that just
Evermore.
came out. Yeah.
Okay, that's the one I've been listening to. I really like it. It's a good, but I've listened to Taylor Swift on and off throughout the years, and she always puts out great stuff. So
Yes.
yeah, for some reason I was like, I think I'll like pull up some Taylor Swift albums. That was just like a couple days ago, and I've been on like a Taylor Swift kick for the last couple of days.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love to hear it. What would you say is your superpower?
So superpower.
I
I
know
don't
that's
know if
always an
it's
interesting
actually a
question.
superpower, but I'm very emphatic. What's it called? Empathetic, and I feel people's
Mhm.
energies as well.
Yeah.
Empathic.
Mhm.
So I tend to, I can meet somebody and within seconds know like a lot about them without them telling me, know how they're feeling, know what they're thinking.
Mhm.
And that actually helps me a lot with what I do, right? So if
Mhm.
I'm doing an initial, half an hour consult with a client, I can kind of pick up right away like what they're looking for their planning, what's important to them, so I can pull out the questions that I need to confirm and get answered, and get a feel for my client. I really like to understand my clients and understand what they're thinking, feeling, and that helps me work as an attorney better for them.
Mhm.
So I think of that as kind of my little superpower.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That definitely is. Yeah. And lastly here, Monique, what would you say is the best advice you've ever gotten?
So I've gotten a lot of good advice throughout the years. I've had a lot of different variety of mentors, either whether they be people that I've worked with or professors in college and law school, family members. I feel like you take from all different areas of your life to kind of compile your mentor base, right?
Mm.
But there's one thing that there was a professor in law school who is a very strong mentor of mine throughout law school, and I remember in my first year of law school, I was going to him for guidance every week and struggling. Like I think a lot of first year law students struggle with the difficulty of that first year. That 1L year, as they call it, is really torturous, torturous too, but
Mhm.
it's torturous for a lot of people in the sense that you get a lot of work. It's a different, Socratic method. Teachers are cold calling on you constantly. The professors automatically, know that they're going to fail a certain percentage of students. You
Wow.
have a lot of students going in who are used to doing really well in college and getting mostly A's, if not all A's, and they're coming to law school thinking that they're going to have that same experience, but it's a
Mhm.
completely different,
Mm.
experience. So a lot of people have anxiety, stress that first year, especially around like exam time. So when I was going to this mentor and my professor in law school, feeling that struggle and that anxiety and not really believing in my abilities and myself
Mhm.
during that time. I remember he said to me, and I never forgot this. He said, "I will believe in you until you are ready to believe in yourself."
Wow.
And it gave me what I needed at that time. And I got that confidence. I grew and I was able to gain that confidence because I had somebody else kind of thinking that they were on my side. But what he really meant is that, you yourself, you need to believe in you. And if
Mm.
you believe in you, then you're going to succeed at whatever you do. And so I never forgot his words. They've completely stuck with me throughout the years. And whenever I put out to accomplish a new task, whenever I, have something that I'm struggling with, I pretty much let myself know. I remember his words and I let myself know, like, you need to believe in yourself and
Mhm.
you will get there, you will succeed.
Mhm.
And so I've really, been able to push myself and achieve things that, I really never thought I would be able to do and get to where I am today because of that.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Kudos to that professor of yours. That's that's wonderful. Well, Monique, I guess before I let you go here, if anybody wants to get in touch with you or learn more about your services and what you have to offer, how can they reach you?
So they can visit my website. It's www.estateandfamilylawyer.com. So A&D is written out, estateandfamilylawyer.com. And all my contact information is there. My email is monique@estateandfamilylawyer.com. My telephone numbers are listed. So the best way to find me is on that website. I also have Facebook and Instagram. If they, they can search for me, it's Monique M. Sadarangani, PLLC. But the website is the best way to get links to all of that. So hopefully, if somebody needs, some planning services or probate, or they just want to find out options, they can definitely reach out to me.
And I feel like that's something you want to start thinking about sooner rather than later, for sure.
Definitely. So, you don't have to have hardly any assets. You don't have to, have a big estate to do your planning. If you have minor children, that's number one thing. If you have, a home, a lot of people have just like their primary home, you still should get your planning in place. And even if you have zero assets, I always tell people lifetime documents. So the durable power of attorney, healthcare proxy, those types of things are definitely key to have. Just if you get sick, if you can't make healthcare decisions for yourself, if you need someone to step in to manage your finances when you're not able to, those are like life-saving documents to have.
Oh yeah, my gosh. I know it's a hard thing for so many people to think about, but yeah, like you're saying, it's so key.
Yeah. And especially, since COVID, I think more people are thinking about these types of situations. And, if something did happen, do we have everything in place? And I think that those are things that everybody, like I said, you don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to be older, you don't have to, you can be healthy. And that's actually the best time to do your plan, is when you're healthy and young and able to get this stuff done with a sound mind and put it to rest. You revisit it every 10 years or when there's a big life change. But you might not have to make any changes, but it's something that gives you that security and peace of mind. So it's definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. Well, Monique, thank you so much again for being with me here. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you for having me. It was really fun.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.